hope you're doing well. I hope you've been enjoying your pottery so far. This is session 4 of Art at Home, Clay on a Tray, coming from Leamington Spa Art Gallery and Museum, but actually coming from my studio in Warwick, which is where I live. I'm Sally, and I just wanted to show you, last week I showed you my kiln that I was just loading a biscuit firing that fired up to 1,000 degrees. And this actually is my friend Avril's pot, who's been on my shelf for a while, but this is been biscuit fired and it's now ready for glazing, which she has glazed the inside. Characteristically, biscuit ware sounds very sort of not like ceramic. It doesn't have a ting to it, whereas when something has been fired up to a temperature which makes it turn into ceramic, which in the case of stoneware is about 1260. Can you hear? It has that ceramic ping to it. So that's before it's been glazed, and that's after. That's one of my Tide Lines pots, which I like making. A lot of my work's inspired by the sea. I was lucky enough to be brought up in the southwest. I was also lucky enough to do O-level pottery. So how nice was that? Anyway, today I'm going to introduce you to a new technique called slabbing, and I'm going to show you how to make a really easy little pot. Now you're going to need to go away and make yourself a little template. You need to make a sort of grid, and I had about 21 centimetres square, and then each I had 9 grids, each one about 7 centimetres, and then I've cut this cross shape out. You're going to need that. And you're also going to need, as I talked about, a rolling pin. Now I'm showing you one made out of an old broom handle, so that's easy. And you're going to need a piece of cloth. Now the reason you need a piece of cloth to roll on, you could use newspaper, is because you need something porous, something that absorbs the water from the clay. If you roll out on a plastic surface, your clay is going to get stuck. So you need something that is easy to remove it from. So when you're rolling out clay, if you start off with a lump, a ball of clay, you've got a lot of work to do. So the first thing when you've got your clay, and you need quite a big lump for this, is to squeeze your clay using your hands into a nice flat lump. Or if you wanted to, when you cut your clay with your string, you could cut a flat piece. So don't make life difficult for yourself. So you've already done quite a bit of the rolling out stage. Then you're going to start rolling out. Now you might want to stand up for this. Now I'm lifting. Now sometimes it's quite hard to get the clay the right thickness. You can use wooden sticks as guidelines if you've got any sticks, but I'm just doing it by eye. Now you want it fairly thin for this, what we're going to be making. It's almost like a little magic pot because they're so easy to make. So basically slabbed things are things that are made out of flat clay that's rolled out and then built in slabs into pot shapes. So I'm going to be showing you several different ways of using this technique. Again, it's about getting your slab at the right amount with the right amount of water in it. So if it's too sticky, it will be really difficult to use. If it's too dry, it will crack. So it's really learning how the clay works for you. You'll find in this sunny weather that it sometimes is easy for it to dry out very quickly, so sometimes you have to really go with the weather. I'm actually filming this a week in advance, so if it's now raining in Warwick and Leamington, I do apologise. Anyway, so you've rolled out your piece of clay on your fabric, and then you're going to get your template. It's a bit like making a pie really. And then using your knife, now I've resorted to my lovely potter's knife out of habit. You can use any knife. If you wanted to use a sharper knife, you could use a vegetable knife or something like that. So I'm cutting around the template. Like so. Now your spare bits of clay, I'm going to show you something to do with those at the end. So just get those into a ball. You could pop them back in the bag if it's very hot. So then you've got your template like that. Then you're going to get your toothbrush again and you're going to scratch and slip all the corners and the sides. Hopefully you can see where we're going with this. Then you can squeeze all the corners together and you end up with a lovely square shaped pot. And this again is where the possibilities of texture and decorating. You go back to week 1 and decorate it with some emulsion paint. So you can see, I just did that very quickly, but you've already got a lovely little square pot and you can then go round and squeeze the corners. Now at this point you can also have a go at perhaps squeezing the sides to make it look more bag-like. But I'm actually going to leave mine fairly square. And then again, you've got the bones of the pot, but you want really now to, I don't know, make it look really special by smoothing it, spending time, getting it really, really neat. Now, there are so many different ways of making patterns and designs on clay. You can use all sorts of things. But I'm just going to show you one that I really, really like. So if you've got any old pens in your house with interesting shaped lids, so this felt tip ran out, but they make really, really lovely flower patterns like that. So they're like little flower patterns. I don't know if you can see that. And then using your knife, you can scratch down almost create a little garden like that. The other thing you can do is you could squeeze your rim and make that wibbly wobbly, or you could smooth your rim and make it very, very square. So a lovely simple way of making a pot. Another nice thing to do, and I usually use an old straw for that, but I'm going to use the lid because I left my straws on the other side of the workshop, is pierce holes with a straw into the side, and you could pierce them all over and then put a tea light in, and you've got, even without firing, a lovely little vessel to use as a tea light holder. And if you painted it white with emulsion paint, that would look really, really lovely. So the possibilities again are endless. Now you've got your spare clay here, and as well as making your grid pot with your template, and of course you could make these in all different sizes, you can roll out your spare clay, and although it gets tired, it's usually fine to squeeze it into a ball once and then roll it out again. Then I want you to have a go at just rolling out your clay and then just going around your house, having a look and experimenting with different textures and things that you could roll into clay. So I found this bit of old fabric. Roll that in. You see the pattern that's made. I've got a bit of edging from lace thing. Roll that in. That, I don't know if you can see, makes the most amazing pattern. So you could experiment with pressing things into the clay. You could try leaves from the garden, twigs, bubble wrap looks great. Just have some fun experimenting, and then you could make those into some little tiles. If you made yourself a little tile template, you could cut out lots of little texture tiles, and I'm going to show you something we can do with those next week, even without firing, to make them into a lovely piece of ceramic wall art. So have a go at making as many different texture tiles, sorry I can't speak, as you can, and I'll show you what we can do with those for next week. So enjoy making your lovely little slab pot, and have fun, keep practicing, keep repeat learning, and I'll see you next week. Bye!